If you want to build cities like this, but you don't want to spend hours plopping every single building, then this video is really important and I encourage you to take notes. There will be a few parts to this video. The first part is a little short and it's just going to be explaining how the new road zoning tool works, which is a vanilla component, by the way. The second part is just going to be how to explaining how to zone, perfectly fine zoning grids. So when the zone has no zoning problems whatsoever, it can still mess up the orientation of buildings. Number 2 is how to use the zoning tool to manipulate the zoning to make it look clean when you have grids that have zoning problems. Number 4 is when you have grids or curved roads within grids, and how to use the zoning tool to make those look clean. And the last one is for suburban roads or non-grid road layouts and how to use those. And then of course we'll have our outro. Before we start, I do want to say please subscribe, it means a lot. We are around 50 subscribers away from 500 subscribers. Pretty big milestone that I've never hit on YouTube before. And also we do have a Discord community that I have just redid the server with my friend Mississippi Mikey. Shout out to him. Let's just get into it. Alright, so here I am in a new game. As you can see, we already got power, then I just imported some water. But the first thing I want to teach you guys is the road zoning tool. So, if we take ourselves this main road and we just bring it up a little bit. Oops, this is a zoning video and I'm messing up zoning. What the road zoning tool is, you're going to go to roads, road services, and all the way at the bottom, the second to last thing, are road zones. So as you can see, when you highlight a side of the road, it is going to turn red. And what happens is, boom, the road zoning is gone. And to bring it back, you're going to right click with your middle finger, and it is going to be back. Now, when I first started this, using this tool, it was just simply for visibility, but also for stuff like when there are roads here and I don't want zoning on the main road. Now all the zoning concentrates on here and nothing zones here, despite it looks like it is. So that was the first part. Very simple. Alright, the next thing is zoning clean grids. Clean grids look like this, and you might be wondering, well, look at the zoning is completely perfect. Why would I have to do something different to make it work? Well, if we go into, let's say, this one, right, and we put down row homes, you can see the orientation of all these buildings are completely messed up and very random, and overall it just looks pretty crappy, to be honest. Now, you won't have too many issues zoning, like if you were to put medium density, it's obviously going to automatically put corner buildings. As you can see, these have two axes. That's a really good way to tell that there's corner buildings being spawned. The thing is, though, is that if you want to make a good city, you gotta have variety. And so, number 1, you can always do blocks. Having diversity and variety are always good. So you can do some, of course they can all be related, it doesn't have to be super variety where it just looks fake. But if we do this 4x4, there's probably a corner building for it. And there's a few buildings, but I think it'll look okay, so we're going to keep it. Then we're going to have a few of these row homes, but then we're also going to mix in some New England ones. And of course, for these shorter ones, just going to delete it, make sure it looks good. Then I'll have maybe some low density commercial will have a nice corner building, and it does because you can see it has two axes. And now if we just wait for these buildings to spawn in, you will see that they are fairly well. They are going to look good, and if we did the whole block, this would all look good. And so using that marquee tool here instead of this area tool gives you more opportunity to not only have variety, but it also makes it so you can kind of choose what size buildings you want, which overall is just going to make everything look a lot nicer. And you can see as this block is coming in, you can see we got some Smiley's assets coming in with the row homes. Okay, we'll just wait for this corner one, which is almost done. And I guess these row homes don't matter, but they're pretty much all finished. And you can see that these corner buildings make the block look so much nicer. You walk down the block, you're not looking at, like, right here. This is not just a blank side of a building with nothing on it. It is, you know, stylized. It's a corner building. You walk here and it just looks like a functional, cohesive city where, you know, different developers have different plots of land and there's variety. So it looks really good. Now we're going to move on to the very next point. Now we have zoning when your grids are a little bit broken. This commonly happens when road types and sizes are changed. As you can see, like, there are alleyways here, and if you look at the zoning, you can see, oof, that's a little bit rough. Now what you want to do is you're going to be making use of this road zones tool, and you are basically going to be dezoning the shortest road side. So boom, here we go. And now you got to get really strategic with this. If you're doing row homes, it's kind of appropriate just to leave the zoning like this. But you get these, like, kind of blank sides, especially on, like, a main street where people are going to be driving by a lot. And you also get these shorter row homes that are kind of annoying and are literally the only row home corner lot. I guess it gives room for pocket park, but nothing crazy. Now what I suggest always doing is zoning, let's just say, like, a little bit, leaving 3 on each side. And now when you go here and go to road zones, you might have to do a little bit of conniving and stuff like that. But once you get it, you should have corner lots coming in right here. And what these corner lots are just going to do is, okay, well, yeah, you should probably fix these. But these corner lots will provide a kind of good way to end a block. And as we know, there are no 3x3 lots for this commercial, so we're just going to leave it like that. And this surprisingly actually does turn up as a corner building. I was thinking it wasn't. But when these buildings come in, they are just going to be looking like a good block. And my advice to make it really easy is when you have these irregular blocks, try to start making them narrow. Like this, where you have enough room to put stuff and kind of ignore the other side of that street. Lots of ghosting. I need to fix that. My graphics got reset recently. But now as this block comes in, you can see we have row homes, but at the end we have a nice little shop or maybe a lower density house right here that kind of wraps around the corner and makes it look like, you know, when you drive over here, it's not just like you're in this dark alleyway. Of course, for right here, if this is meant to be a sketchy alley, it makes sense to have, you know, a brick wall right up against that. And now we're just going to move to our next part. Now we have curved roads and grids that join at angles and stuff that looks like this. If you take a look at the zoning, you can see this is absolutely horrendous. This block is going to look absolutely empty if we zoned it such like this. This one's not too bad, but it gets funky right here. So these are two kind of the main types of curved roads that you'll see. And the first thing that you should always do is delete zoning on the curved road or the road that is causing lots of trouble. And you're going to get something that looks a lot better. Of course, always try fiddling with it, right? And you might feel compelled to plop some buildings to make it look good, which is fine. But usually if you're staying strictly zoning, it's very hard to get these to look really, really good. But you can always try just covering it up with trees. So now, of course, we still have our marquee tool. We're going to be doing this. It might be close enough to do a corner building. It might not. And that's okay if it's not. Like right here, it's not going to have a corner building. And that's fine. And my suggestion with this is try to use something like a commercial building, since they usually, especially the low density, usually have more attractive, you know, like brick wall sides. You know, they're not really ugly or anything. Or just use assets and zoning types that you know look good. You know, I can mix this all in with a UK townhome and hopefully it looks pretty good. We'll look. But you could see the zoning is already fills this thing up a lot more. And even though you might think, oh, well, what about this stupid little space here? Well, I mean, that's honestly the perfect place for a mini park. And if you just move it a little bit, you can kind of get it to cover that corner. And then maybe you can throw in a nice path right here and get it to snap even more so that you don't have to do too much surface work. And look at that. It looks beautiful. So I guess I'm just kind of stalling as well to get these things in. But you can see, yeah, it has a more attractive side. And I mean, if you really wanted and you felt compelled to, you can always add bushes, you know, and maybe not these ones. These ones are kind of obnoxiously large, but you know, something like that. And maybe don't do the UK townhomes right here, but you know what I mean. Like, you're going to have to get very creative, but you should be able to get away with enough. Now this one is pretty difficult. We might have to use anarchy. You might have to have anarchy allow, just because, especially if you use move it, you might end up having to take some liberties here. So if you get move it, or anarchy, I mean, even just removing that is like, oof, that's not good. So what I'm going to do is, what I like to do to kind of reset my mind and get myself to where, like, okay, what exactly do I want the zoning to look like? I delete all the zoning. I start with the streets I know are the longest and easiest, that are going to be the easiest to zone. It's going to be these. And we still have a little bit of a weird thing. So what I can do is get rid of that node for now, and that completely fixes it. Now, as you can see, this is weird, right? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this here, right? Now there's options where, okay, this is a good spot for like a medical center, and especially the rural one, because you have some space that maybe this is part of the building, but it has no texture, right? But maybe you don't want to do that, right? Maybe you don't want to put a park or a service building there. So let's just do what we've been doing, which is kind of doing this. Then, you know, let's throw in like a medium density corner building, which hopefully spawns in. If not, then I guess we'll do a 4x4 this. Maybe that's not a corner building. I'm making myself look really bad here. And then maybe we'll just get in some low density waterfront, I guess. And although they're not going to be corner, we still have this weird zoning glitch here. And what I usually use this for is for some kind of parking based commercial. So if I come here, I can have these, and if I want, now you're not always going to get the asset you want, so plopping might come in handy, and that's only a minute of plopping. But the thing is, oh, also, before I forget, you can put this node back here, and if you check the zoning, it is completely fine and not messed up at all. Usually the crosswalks break it, so if we go for more of a crosswalk, you can see that it is broken. So unless it's necessary, try not to use too many crosswalks in between your buildings. And I'm putting too much effort into this crosswalk for a tutorial video. And I'm also just waiting for these buildings to pop up because, you know, I'm zoning this. So these might all be the same asset. So, you know, if they all pop up to be the same asset, you know, maybe Japan, but you could see here, this happens. And you might be like, Sammy, or, okay, I just dropped my real name. I'll keep it in, I don't care. You might be like, dude, why? Why would you do that? I literally asked you to help me make all my buildings look clean, and this looks horrendous. Well, I never said no detailing, right? So, a great thing to do is to spice up and make these things less boring is to just put graffiti on them. Okay, Booty Addict is a little weird. But you can see this just makes it more interesting and not so boring, right? Another thing that you can do is, of course, add something like a fence. And if you have something like these grass sprites here, right? If you place some here, it gives it a sense of the border of this place. and you can see it looks more clean. It is always wise to put a park or something right here. If you want to try and, you know, get, I don't know, zoning there, you can. But this is probably going to be the most trouble you're ever going to have with zoning. And with that, that is when I recommend Platter. You can search up that tutorial separately. So now let's move on to the next segment. And finally, we have curved roads and more suburban type developments. Now let me add in a road that I kind of just forgot to. And I guess another stressor here is the cul-de-sac, which can be really hard to pull off successfully in game. As you can see, curved roads in general just have really weird zoning. And if you have intersections close to each other, and you want to get as much coverage as possible, it can be pretty difficult. First, I'm going to start off with like a grid that has a curved road or curved roads. The same is with the narrow street grid. Try to take the zoning off if the road is short enough on that side, and then you can get your corner buildings. I think there should be good on both sides. They are. And the zoning will just kind of maybe collapse in on each other or spread out, but it will still look pretty good. Then we have kind of something like this, where multiple roads are curved, and they don't have like a road that's short enough to just get rid of zoning. Of course, just like the last tip, is to just erase all the zoning and think. There's probably not going to be a lot of zoning on this road, right? So let's take zoning here and take zoning here. These are our two longest and main roads. And if we do here, we can see that this can only fit in one little thing. Keep this road zoned, you can get a nice corner building. So, okay, we're doing good there. But we still have this whole issue here, which usually can be solved with something such as this. Now, here you can see that, yeah, there's not going to be enough, you know, stuff to zone on this road. So let's just get our low density, normal housing out, and you can see that, I guess corner buildings do not matter as much here, right? Especially for low density, but they are still important if you want to have kind of a nice clean thing, or if you do want to have commercial and you're building maybe more of a European type city. Now, it's going to be weird having only two houses, right, that are actually facing the road here. So for now, you're going to have to experiment and delete a lot of things. For now, let's just zone all of this low density, right? Now what you can do is delete the ones that you're like, okay, I think if I delete these two, it'll still look fine. Then I can really quickly get zoning back, then of course give it back here. Now this might break a little bit of zoning in the future, so it's always good to have kind of like, I guess in a way, make it so that zone buildings are ploppable. I do not know exactly how you would go go about that, but usually it's something such as find it, or you can probably find it somewhere. But then you're gonna, and you can always fix the zoning somehow. There's usually little things you can do that work. If not, you might have to pay attention a lot to areas like this. When this block fills out, we can see that, okay, maybe we have a little bit of room here, but at the same time, it's not going to let us. So when zoning physically does not let you, you're going to have to say, okay, we're going to have to make some lore. And some pretty good lore is always going to be like, number one, it's got to be an abandoned lot. You see these a lot in any city. There's going to be abandoned lots where, you know, no house is, or maybe you can put like a small little building or some rubble. That's always good. Now cul-de-sacs are always usually the easiest, besides of course like most of the grid ones. Now I feel like this one shouldn't have a road or a house on the end here. Usually cul-de-sacs are not that close to another road, so let's redo this to make this look realistic. Realistically, about right here is where a cul-de-sac would be. And now if we... Basically, you just want to take out all the zoning around here, right? And then you can add it all back, and when it comes back in, it'll make a lot more sense surrounding the roundabout. And you can... Obviously, you're going to have to do some routing here, but specifically in a cul-de-sac thing, you can... In the case of a cul-de-sac, it's a very, very simple fix. Now, actually, I'm going to add another part to the video here. You probably saw it already. It was kind of like, maybe in the intro I added it while I'm editing. But I'm going to show you an example of one of my cities that is entirely zoned. But this is Stratton County. I'm pretty sure that's the name, right? It's got 58,000 people. It used to have 75,000. I kind of bombed this city, right? It was just a little project that I would do while I was bored and while I was kind of taking a break from City Skylines. Now, you can see that everything looks pretty good, and you might think I plopped this, but I actually zoned everything here. And yes, it still looks a little weird, and that's because all the things I showed you, I didn't exactly discover how to do yet, like corner lots and stuff. So especially this city only took me 10 minutes, and you can see that some of these I kind of lost motivation for. But all in all, if we look at things like what's this city called, Maple Coast, you can see that the downtown area looks pretty full. Now, I didn't fully detail this either, so that's why it also doesn't look good. But from a while out, you can see that this looks like a pretty cohesive city. And I didn't plop a single building except for the ones that you have to plop, like service buildings or signature buildings. You can see, I guess a really good example is Zane, which is the biggest city. Like the downtown itself has like 7,000 people. And you can see that all these blocks, especially these ones right here, look really, really good. And I wasn't even using the strategies that I taught you. I just was kind of messing around until I found something that was good. And you can see I also played up on terrain. That's besides the point. But just using good zoning rules and methods, using that vanilla tool is such an amazing way to, put it. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I can't see my cursor. It was all the way over there. It's like pulling me around. But you can see even for these suburban communities, the zoning doesn't look bad because I used a lot of zoning canceling tools. And I'll show you examples here. If you kind of look here, you can see that there's no zoning at all on any of on Edge Hill Street, Garnet Street, another Edge Hill Street. Maybe they're all connected. Nope, it's the same thing. Coleridge Street, and Lafayette, and any other streets like that. And I made it so that, these buildings are more focused on the residential, while these are more focused on the travel. And Airside's also a pretty good spot where I guess I had more cleaner grids. Oh, actually I didn't. Wait, no, did I? Yeah, no, I didn't. You could see there's still some bugs here. Then I have an airport and stuff. That's besides the point. And then I also have Loon Village, dedicated to Urban Loon. He gets this nice little village inspired by generic Lemons, little Japanese village. But this is all using zoning tools. And this is all without detailing as well, so just so you guys know. But, something like this really goes to show that you don't need to plop down every building to make your build look realistic. You can get a really nice looking metropolis like this that has lots of things like rural communities and dense suburban sprawl and random industrial places, and of course large cities like right here and I guess whatever the heck I was building here. Hope you guys did enjoy this tutorial. I know I didn't do a lot of planning for this one beforehand, but I just wish that I kind of knew a lot of these things earlier, and also that this tool was out earlier that I could use. And I guarantee you, if you spent time detailing the blocks after you zone them, I guarantee you when you zoom in close, they will look absolutely amazing. So without further ado, make sure you guys subscribe, especially if you made it all the way here. I mean, I don't know what you're doing if you're not subscribing. Join the Discord too if you need to make a suggestion for a series, a city name, or just a build in general that you want to see. Everything you can do is on Discord, and you can talk to me personally. I'm pretty active in it when people do chat around in it, so definitely join that. And I guess this is my cue to go, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.